Well, there's speculation tonight Anthony Albanese is set to break a key election promise. He's reportedly set to scrap stage 3 tax cuts for people earning more than $180,000 as his government looks to find cost of living relief in the budget. The tax break reportedly on the chopping block ahead of Wednesday's emergency caucus meeting.
If we can find ways to put extra dollars in people's pockets, particularly those low and middle income earners who are doing it tough, then we're prepared to do so.
Well, the Prime Minister gave that interview to Sky today, so obviously someone has leaked that there's going to be a change announced on Wednesday. You've got a by-election in 5 weeks' time. So I think they've desperately polled the stage 3 tax cuts, and they've worked out that if you can go out and sell the argument that people who are earning over $180,000 don't deserve a tax cut, they're going to change at the bottom end as well, the tax-free threshold. That's what they're going to do. But no matter what way you look at it, this is a broken promise. Anthony Albanese went right around Australia all last week, asked on every radio interview he did, are you going to change anything to do with the stage 3 tax cuts? His answer was very tricky. He said, there'll be tax cuts and we're still committed.
But I don't understand. So obviously this hasn't happened yet. And if it does happen, we don't know what the detail will be.
Well, it is going to happen. I mean,
right, but the detail will be interesting, because if the only change is they increase the threshold at the bottom end, and they move that top tax bracket from $200,000 to $180,000.
Or leave it at 180 because they promised to take it up.
Yeah. But it's legislated, right? So they'd have to legislate to get it back. But anyway, if that's the only change, it's actually a pretty slight change. And then I don't get why would you make a slight change with all the pain of the broken promise, which will be the campaign that the opposition...
Of course. I mean, it's a massive risk. I mean, you go... The big broken promise was Julia Gillard, there'll be no carbon tax under a government I lead. And the opposition will just go in gangbusters on this.
And so if you're going to break a promise like this, don't you break it properly? Don't you go and say, right, we're actually making a significant change in inflation's a problem, whatever, and argue that case?
Because these have been costed at like $69 billion over 25, 26, right?
Yeah.
These tax cuts.
Well,
how much of a difference is it really going to make?
Well, the costing's really tricky because the bulk of this would still remain. So the amount that it would cost is really hard to... You'd have to know how much tax is going to be collected between that 180 and 200.
So you're saying risk and reward? Yeah,
but I'm also saying I know nothing about politics, so I wouldn't trust me on that calculation. No, like I'm running a political campaign, I don't know. But it just, if that's the detail, that surprises me.
Will this affect comedians doing cash-in-hand gigs at pubs?
Well, yeah, unfortunately you won't get the bump at the bottom end because your tax is $0.
Oh, great, terrific. Well, business as usual then. Yeah.